And I stayed with them for about 6 months, and then I applied for a job at the post office, trying to get into the Commonwealth government. I sat for an exam, but because I didn't have any junior certificate from school, I didn't have, apart from my wartime points, I didn't have enough educational points to get me into their 3rd division. So I stayed in the 4th division with the post office for a little while, about 6 months. And then I applied for another course through the Commonwealth Reconstruction Training Scheme and went and did my leaving certificate out a 2-year full-time course at Perth Technical College in St George's Terrace. I qualified in that and I immediately got a job with the Public Health Department and I stayed with them for 33 years. Soon after I got home, my girlfriend had been waiting for me. We became engaged soon after I came home, we got engaged, and in October 1945, 46, we married. And in due course we had, I stayed with the Public Health Department for 33 years, and when I retired from there, by that time we had 3 children, and so we were a happy couple.
Lovely. Now, did you get appropriate back pay when you were finally discharged?
Yes, they paid us up. I think I got something in the vicinity of 400 odd pound in those days. I think it was just over 400 odd pounds. And later on we got 23 pounds compensation from the Japanese that the government gave us. I think that was $23. But those are the only 2 payments I got. But I was still being paid in the Navy, of course, until I got
discharged. And when you bought your first house, what do you remember what you paid for that? Which suburb?
I bought it under the War Service Scheme, and it cost me 2,150 odd pound. To go into a 2-bedroom house. A single bathroom house. Couldn't have a garage because I didn't have a car.
And which suburb was that in?
That was in, well, by that time, I'd lived with my mother-in-law for a while after we were married, and our house was built, it would have been in 1947, I think, by the time we got into our house. Which took about 13 months to get constructed in those days. And we stayed there for the next 45 years until we shifted out here to Duns Craig.
Well, Fred, I'm very indebted to you for giving me that story today. And you believe it, we've got 3 minutes to spare.
That's good.
What was actually the worst thing that you experienced? Was it in the water when...
I was recently by a girl who's writing a book, Patty Wright, do you know? She came out to my place a few weeks ago. And she asked me the same question. She said, what was the saddest thing you saw? And I had to tell her the saddest thing I actually saw, apart from knowing all the sailors that were killed, I saw an American 131st Field chap die of dysentery, I suppose he must have had. And he'd been penetrated by maggots up his anus, and they'd got into his stomach. And I went to see him one day with the copper. I don't know how I got to that stage where I went to see him for any reason, but he had another friend with him, of course. But you could see his stomach heaving with these maggots that were working around inside his stomach. You could actually see his stomach moving. That was the saddest thing that I think I saw. He only died in the next day sort of thing, but he was only a young lad about 18 or 19 as I was.
Well, thank you for that. Which camp was it in?
That was in Camp 18.
Oh yes, early. Well, once again, I think we are at the end of the tape, and thank you very, very much indeed.
Pleased to help to